Support for Woodsongs Show number 470 is provided by Insight Communications, the Kentucky Department of Tourism, Kentucky Proud and First Colony Coffee and Tea. Use the word Woodsongs as a discount code at firstcolonycoffee.com and get 10% off any order.
By QCA, providing compact disc, CD-ROM, DVD, cassette, and even vinyl record manufacturing for artists and record labels. When it's time for you to make your CD, call QCA. And by the Deering Banjo Company, makers of fine handcrafted banjos like the brand new Woodsongs long neck open back banjo. Black, sleek, and it sounds so sweet. Visit the Deering Banjo Company online at deeringbanjos.com.
Lodging for guest artists provided by the Bluegrass Hospitality Association and the Crown Plaza Campbell House. Elegant, affordable, a great location near downtown, and the best place to stay in Lexington. If Bob Dylan enjoyed his stay here, so will you. Take your next vacation trip to the beautiful musical state of Kentucky. Information to attend a taping of Woodsongs is on our website at woodsongs.com.
Here on the Louisiana Hayride, his name is
Hank Williams,
the Drifting Cowboy.
On the Grand Ole Opry, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys.
Hi, this is Bruce Horns.
Hi, this is Kevin Moe.
Hey, folks, this is Bela Fleck.
Hi, folks, this is Sam Bush.
Hello, this is Odetta.
This is Joan Baez, and you're listening to the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
And now, gather the family around and sit back in your easy chair. It's time again for the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour, our worldwide celebration of grassroots music. Let's welcome folk singer, author, and tree hugger, Michael Johnathan.
Thunderstruck and overcome, you are so unlike anyone I have ever known. That's why I'm missing you. You came to me in a shooting star, with all the brightness that you are, and you shined on me. That's why I'm missing you. Are you the greatest love that I have ever known? Who moves the universe in me? Or will you come and go like a comet in the sky, and leave me so breathless and missing you? Morning comes just like it should, in the beauty of Ravenwood, and I watch you sleep so very close to me, and I hold you in the morning breeze as you drift away from me, and I'm already missing you. Are you the greatest love that I have ever known? Who moves the universe in me? Or will you come and go like a comet in the sky? So breathless and missing you.
The Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour is presented in part by First Colony Coffee and Tea Company. You can browse their full collection of natural coffees and teas like the Rainforest Morning Blend, the Ghirardelli chocolate-flavored coffees, and other fair trade Rainforest Alliance certified organic coffees in stores nationwide or online at firstcolonycoffee.com.
And by the Kentucky Department of Travel. You can explore the hundreds of rivers, lakes, mountain parks, horse farms, music festivals, and vacation destinations across Kentucky, the birthplace of Bill Monroe and bluegrass music. Online at KentuckyTourism.com.
And welcome to the historic Kentucky Theater here in our hometown of Lexington, Kentucky. So nice to see everybody here. We are broadcasting all over the world, from Australia to Ireland, from Boston to South Padre Island in Texas, where we celebrate independent and grassroots music. Woodsongs is a multimedia broadcast, syndicated, of course, to radio, our main family of broadcasters. We're also heavily involved on the internet and on PBS stations nationwide. Why? Because we are celebrating one of the most beautiful art forms in the world. This thing that we call folk. Don't be afraid of that word. It's a magnificent grassroots diamond with so many facets. It's blues and it's bluegrass and it's country and it's Celtic and it's old-timey and it's new singer-songwriters. And this stage celebrates it all. We celebrate the artists and the music that are here. One of the artists that has greatly affected the singer-songwriter world, especially the guitar world, is the fellow that you're hearing right now. He was around through the early part of the century, through the 40s, 50s, and 60s, was his major part of his career. He changed the face of the guitar and minds of many, including those that are on our stage today.
You've been dead a long time ago, snuffing this cocaine. You won't snuff long no more. Cocaine has got all around my brain.
You may know the song, so many people have covered it. The fellow that was singing that song is the artist that we are actually celebrating today. There's an album that has just been released on MC Records called Let Us Get Together, a tribute to the Reverend Gary Davis. The artist that sings that record is here with us today. She's a magnificent artist in her own right. We're going to go into her story, that of Reverend Gary Davis as well, who he was, what the music meant. She's going to introduce herself with a song from that brand new album called I Feel Like Going On. Please welcome the one and only Marie Knight to the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
Lord, I feel like going on. I feel like going on. I done come this far, and I find no fault. Lord, I feel like going on. Lord, I feel like going on. I feel like going on. I done come this far, and I find no fault. Lord, I feel like going on. Going on. I feel like going on. Satan's on my track, trying to turn me back, but I feel like going on. I feel like going on. I feel like going on. Satan's in this land trying to turn me around, but I feel like going on.
The voice of Marie Knight. Her new CD is Let Us Get Together, a tribute to Reverend Gary Davis. First, Marie, it's so nice to have you on the show. Thank you for coming out and visiting us again. It's your second time on Woodsongs.
Well, it's a great big pleasure to be here and to see, to hear, and the smiles of so many people. It's simply beautiful.
Well, you're quite beautiful yourself. Let's talk a little bit about you before we get into the new album, the tribute to Reverend Gary Davis. Music was very important to you as a young kid, especially like your parents, your mom, encouraging you to sing. Tell me the story about how you started singing as a young girl.
Well, I started singing publicly when I was 5. And my mother used to stand me up on the stage, and she'd say, now you, in the church, she'd stand me up on a table, and she'd say, you're going to sing now, or I'm not going to take you home. And I felt a little downhearted about that. Really did. And I would get up with a strong voice and just give it out to the people, and when they would applaud, I would hide my face because it would scare me. But with the voice that I have, when I become to know myself, I was born with it.
So that's interesting. The sound of your voice as a young girl was disconcerting to you. You didn't know you had that kind of voice.
I really didn't. I didn't know I had that. I used to go in the closet, and I'd go in the closet and shut the door, and I'd sound off with the voice, and I'd wonder to myself, where'd you get that?
Well, what do you think your family thought of you in the closet singing?
Well, my mother used to follow me around quite often. She would follow me around to see, what I was doing and different things, and the people began to have me to come to their different churches and sing. Mm-hmm. And my mom would always go with me, and she would always cry.
Why?
And I would wonder why she would cry. And one day she told me, when you go in the public, you're so far from me until I can't reach you then. And I'm very, very, very afraid that something will happen to you.
So your mom loved you very much.
Yes.
So you were very, very close. And obviously her love of music is what encouraged you.
That's right.
Now you began taking your music seriously, and mostly in church.
Yes.
You'd sing mostly in church. So let's go. We want to go back into the album because now that we've talked about this beautiful, strong voice of yours, let's hear it again. You've got a new album out. It's called Let Us Get Together, a tribute to Reverend Gary Davis. We're going to talk more about who Gary Davis is and why he's so important to this broadcast. But this is the title cut. It's Marie Knight on the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
Let us get together right down here. Let's get together right down here. Let us get together right down here. Get together, people, right down here. Let us get together right down here. Let's get together. Let us get together right down here. Let's get together, people, right down here. Let us clap our hands right down here. Let's clap our hands together right down here. Let us clap our hands together right down here. Clap your hands together, people, right down here. us love one another right down here. Let's love one another right down here. Let us love one another right down here. Love one another, children, right down here. Let us get together right down here. Let's get together right down here. Let us get together right down here. Get together, children, right down here.
There's that voice. Marie Knight, title cut from her new album, a tribute to Reverend Gary Davis. Around 1946, young Marie Knight went to a concert, and there on the stage was Mahalia Jackson, and the woman that you're hearing Marie Knight sing with now. It's a great, great artist, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Huge hit for Sister Rosetta Tharpe and Marie Knight. You and Sister Rosetta Tharpe were doing this call and response style of singing that was very effective, and the audiences loved that.
Yes, well, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, whenever I heard about her, because I met her on a concert, and she said, I'm going home right now and talk to your mama.
Because she liked you. She heard you, what, singing in the audience?
Yes.
You were singing in the audience?
Yes.
She's on stage.
And she was as a guest in the audience. And when it was over, she said, look, I want you to take my name, but I can't write, so you got to write it. Because I'm going home and talk to your mama right now. So she did.
So she heard the voice that you kept hidden in the closet. And she wanted to put it out to the world.
That's right.
And you played concerts. You went all over the world with her.
With her.
And so this was the beginning of your career. Now, interestingly enough, while you were doing that with Sister Rosetta Tharpe all over the world, this fella from South Carolina moves to New York City and starts playing on the street corners, Reverend Gary Davis. And eventually your two worlds collide, but not too much later. So I'm going to let you tell that story as we keep on going. But here's another song from the brand new record, a tribute to Reverend Gary Davis, called A Little More Faith, Marie Knight on the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
Soul got happy and stayed all day. I heard the voice down in my soul, Jesus talking as he was told. Said all I want, yeah, little more faith in Jesus. Satan was standing out on the road, telling me the stories that was told. I lifted my hands to the heaven on high. Jesus would bless me standing by. All I want, yeah, all I want.
The voice heard by Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She teamed up with Marie Knight, and Marie Knight went all over the world at a time when in Durham, South Carolina, a fellow playing the guitar who was blinded as a young boy, who turned to his community and his church to make himself feel better about his blindness and understand this thing that happened to him. Like many other players around the Piedmont area of South Carolina, he started playing the guitar and fell into the company of Blind Boy Fuller, Brownie McGee, and Sonny Terry. Eventually, he moved to New York and was discovered by the folk community, Pete Seeger being an important person in the introduction of Reverend Gary Davis to the folk audiences. And Pete had a TV show on public television called Rainbow Quest. And in the 1960s, he invited Reverend Gary Davis to come on this show. Watching that show is a guitar player that's on our stage now. He's a brilliant guitarist. He was with Bob Dylan's band until 2004. He's produced many, many records, worked with everyone from Levon Helm to Paul Simon, and he's playing guitar with Marie Knight now. Let's welcome Larry Campbell to the show. So you're watching TV, and this blind African-American man, rather large fella, playing a big-bodied Gibson, huge sunglasses. He's playing around a picnic table with Pete. Right. So what was the effect on young Larry Campbell?
I was stunned. I'd never heard anything like it. You know, I started playing guitar in the mid-'60s. I was about 11 years old, and you know, it was all about the Beatles to me then. That was the catalyst. That was, you know, that got me into it. And then, you know, my parents had all these eclectic records around, a lot of Jimmy Rogers and Hank Williams and different stuff that had nothing to do with pop music, you know. And I was enthralled by that Rainbow Quest program. I used to watch it religiously, you know. And then here comes Gary Davis playing this style of guitar that I'd never really heard before, and doing it with such skill and finesse and ease. And he's blind, and he's singing at the same time. And and the feel was amazing. And here's Donovan, I think, was on that show too, right? Just sort of staring at him. You know?
What's he doing there, right?
I mean, I was a Donovan fan at the time, you know, and glad to see him. But then there's this thing, which is this whole other world, you know.
Well, you know, there's a thing called YouTube out there. Anybody can go to YouTube and type in Pete Seeger Rainbow Quest, and up will come clips of Reverend Gary Davis on Rainbow Quest. Matter of fact, a lot of the ideas that we have for Woodsongs was taken from that show. Just artists sitting around doing a song, talking about, just like we are now. But here you are. You saw that show, and then you really, really studied his style.
I did. I went everywhere I could to try to find his recordings and slow him down on the record player and try to, you know. At the time, I didn't have the skill to really get it, you know. I just didn't. It was just beyond me. But I labored and labored at it for years after that, until I finally felt like I understood what he was doing, you know.
Well, give the audience, give us 30 seconds of anything on your acoustic guitar, just the guitar, and let's get the sound of that syncopated Piedmont style of guitar playing that Reverend Gary would play. Just play anything you want. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, for the guitar players listening, that's all first position stuff.
Yeah, it's all out of a C chord, really.
And it's standard tuning. Mm-hmm. You're not in any strange tunings or anything.
Right.
And that was his.
Him and Blind Blake and a couple other guys. You know that it's about that keeping that
thumb
going, and the melodies on the top, and somewhere you get the impression there's a whole other rhythmic thing going on in the middle of it, you know. And if it's pretty fascinating.
So now the best way to probably learn this guitar is to do what Marie Knight did, just lock yourself in a closet with your guitar. Seems to be a good
Forget about
system.
baseball, forget about football, forget about everything else that turns you on, and just play, you know.
Well, it has served you well because you've toured all over the place. You've recorded with everybody. You're a very busy musician, and you've played with all the A-list guys. The reason that you're here is because Larry Campbell is the producer of Marie Knight's album, Tribute to Reverend Gary Davis. And there are other special players here with Marie that as our hour continues, we're going to introduce each one of them. They're all a very important part of the album. But let's get back into the songs. This is an album called Let Us Get Together. It's a tribute to Reverend Gary Davis, this blind a guitar player that made his home in New York City for many decades and impressed guitars from David Bromberg to Jorma Kaukonen to Larry Campbell and so many others. This is a brilliant album as sung by this artist. Here's a song called I Belong to the Band. It's Marie Knight on the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
Talking about that Christian band, 'cause I belong to that band. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I belong to that band. Hallelujah. Going up to heaven, sit right down. Ask my Lord for my starry crown, 'cause I belong to that man. Hallelujah.
The powerful voice of Marie Knight. We are celebrating one of the most influential guitar players of the modern 20th century. He was a blind gentleman. He was a brilliant gentleman. He would play the street corners of Harlem. He was, in fact, an actual ordained minister, which is why they call him Reverend. But his music influenced everyone from Eric Clapton to Paul Simon to Larry Campbell to so many others. This whole hour is about a tribute album to him called Let Us Get Together. We'll be back with Marie Knight and special guests right after this.
You're listening to Woodsongs Show number 470, presented in part by First Colony Coffee and Tea, Kentucky Tourism, plus hundreds of Woodsongs radio partners from around the world.
And by Poetman Records USA, releasing the all-acoustic album, Walden the Earth Song Collection, inspired by the final 2 days Henry David Thoreau spent in his cabin before leaving Walden Pond. The Walden album is available at Borders bookstores, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon.com. More information and song samples can be found at waldenplay.com.
We'll be back in 60 seconds with more of the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour. Our show is supported in part by Sing Out Magazine, on the web at singout.org. by D'Addario, guitar, banjo, mandolin, and cello strings. And by QCA, providing compact disc, CD-ROM, DVD, cassette, and vinyl record manufacturing for over a half-century. Information about QCA is available on our website at woodsongs.com.
This portion of Woodsongs is presented in part by Kentucky Proud and the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. Information on how Kentucky-grown farm products are used worldwide and in your hometown is available online at kentuckyproud.com.
Hi, this is Taj Mahal, and you're listening to Michael Johnathan and the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
Thank you so much, Taj. There's a fellow that recorded some of the Reverend Gary Davis songs. Taj Mahal said, Gary Davis took you out of playing baby guitar. He made you play like a real grown man instead. And behind me, you're hearing a Reverend Gary song called Worried Blues. Listen to how he's playing. Can you picture Larry Campbell sitting there in front of that TV?
Something like this.
Just a beautiful, beautiful man. Beautiful guitarist. Reaching into the Woodsongs mailbag, we can see how artists like Reverend Gary Davis and Marie Knight and others affect people that are tuning in from around the world. Here's some email that we've recently got. Hello, Michael. I listen to Woodsongs on KSUT-FM in Ignacio, Colorado. I love the show, especially the mix of the artists. It's not always the same thing, which is great. The web archives give me even more enjoyable hours of music, interviews, and fun. Thank you for providing that. The popularity of Woodsongs is blossoming. Now I get to watch it on public television, and that's great. Keep picking, Michael. You have a good thing going there. Dennis Stratford in Bayfield, Colorado wrote that. And he's right. Woodsongs is on the air now on public television stations nationwide, and we want to welcome the viewers. It's a TV broadcast of a radio show. It's not a radio broadcast of a TV show. But we want to welcome the viewers of West Virginia Public Television, Georgia Public Television statewide, UNC, which is North Carolina Public Television statewide, Utah Public Television statewide, and South Carolina Public Television, to name a few, where you get to watch Woodsongs on TV. We are here with the lovely Marie Knight, and behind her playing drums is the fellow that is making this particular project possible. It's neat in a world of corporate record companies that a music guy still exists out there somewhere running a record label, and he cares more about the art and the artist than the financial side. And you know what? That usually takes care of the financial side when you do that. It's one of the most award-winning blues labels in North America or around the world right now. It's called MC Records, and here's the owner of that label playing drums, Mark Carpentieri, sitting back there. So, Mark, you are able to get Marie Knight as part of your record company. Mm-hmm. And, of course, you already know Larry Campbell and his passion for Reverend Gary Davis. Oddly enough, Marie Knight wasn't that familiar with Reverend Gary at the time you brought the idea to her.
Yeah, that's true. She was familiar with some of the songs, but didn't exactly attach them to Reverend Gary Davis. But once I gave her a whole bunch of those songs, she was completely moved by the music and really wanted to do the project.
Can you describe the time that you're in the studio and you and Larry are bringing this idea up to Marie, which it actually has served this album better that she wasn't overly familiar with Reverend Gary Davis, because Marie Knight has added Marie Knight's stamp to it.
Well, That's really true, and I think you're completely right with that, the songs really moved her, and, to have Larry on board to play it. And I think what also made it special, too, was Larry didn't exactly cop every lick that Reverend Gary did. He put his own stamp, so you have two great artists, musically and vocally, putting their stamp on this great musician and great songwriter. I mean, those are all his songs, and I think, he's known as such a great guitarist, which he is, but when you hear these songs, you realize, and I realized even more so, what a great songwriter he was.
Now, your MC Records has put out recent albums by our friend Odetta, and the tribute to Sister Rosetta Tharpe, right, and Marie Knight, and you've won all these blues awards. I mean, we want to congratulate you for caring so much about the music.
Thank you. Well, I do.
Yeah, I know you do. And the record companies are having a hard time right now.
It's a little tough out there, but when you, the thing for us or for MC Records is we really only release a handful of records a year. We take a lot of great care with them, and we'll work them for years. We really believe in the artists that make the music, and that's really important. It's about the music, and as you said, the rest comes with it.
Yeah, and record companies don't do that anymore, and the music and the artists and the audience is suffering, so they are turning elsewhere from the record companies to find the music they like. They still love music, they still want music, they just don't want the crap that the record companies are handing to them.
Very true.
So now we have something that is a stellar, beautiful gem of a diamond in this tribute album to a great artist. The CD is called Let Us Get Together. Here's a song from it, beautiful song, called 12 Gates to the City. Let's welcome her back, Marie Knight, on the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
City, 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. Now if you see my dear old mother, give her this message for me. Tell my dear old mother to meet me in Galilee. There will be 12 gates to city. Hallelujah. What a beautiful city. Beautiful city. Oh, a beautiful city. 12 gates to the city. Hallelujah.
That's how to sing a song. 12 Gates to the City from the CD Let Us Get Together, a tribute to Reverend Gary Davis. Now, Marie, you hadn't recorded an album for 25 years. Yeah, what were you doing for 25 years?
Well, for 25 years, I was traveling with Sister Rosetta Tharpe because I was with her 22 years. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the time, I met a guy and I got married on Thursday and I left him the next Thursday.
Oh.
He couldn't get used to me traveling from one place to the other. But when he met me, I was traveling.
So he had no cause for complaint.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I said, all right, you cool, and I'll go this way. And I've been gone ever since. Never got back. But within that time, God saw fit to take my mother from me. And I was very sad for a while. But I finally worked into it and got over that because she had to go.
Right. It must feel good to be working and to have this record out and to have this very important music part of your career now.
Oh, yes. I was very proud when my manager back here, because
Mark.
because when the phone rings, I know it's him or either my piano player, Dave Keys. When the phone rings, I said, oh, that's Mark now. But I'm very grateful for him, for the patience and the time and the music and the business that is concerned that he takes with me. Because he seems to be very, very, concerned about me. And I go to work and love that. Let's give him a hand, Mark.
Mark loves the artist. So unlike the first husband, you're not going to leave Mark on a Thursday.
Well,
ain't no guarantee, right? Now, most of the music that you sing to is piano-based, and here comes Larry with the acoustic guitar with Reverend Gary Davis songs. I mean, so this whole experience musically is kind of a fresh thing for you.
Well, it's fresh because usually with the guitar on the band, Backs and Forth, that I work with, the Holmes brothers, and he plays guitar, and it's very good. But I will go to work to understand Larry just picking up my voice and picking up the way that it go. He is more better than wonderful. Larry Davis.
More better. More better than wonderful. Well, let's hear some of this more better, wonderful music from your new record. And when we're done, we're going to introduce the bass player. You've got a wonderful bass player here in your band. I think the audience is going to get a big treat out of this. But again, it's from her new CD, Let Us Get Together, tribute to Reverend Gary Davis. The song is You Got to Move.
Got to Move.
It's Marie Knight on the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
You got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move. When the Lord gets ready, you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You got to You got to move. You may be high, you may be low, you may be rich, and you may be poor. When the Lord get ready, you got to move. You may be rich, you may be poor, hey, you may be low, can't get no more. When the Lord get ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you got to move, you got to move, you got to move, you got to move. To move.
One and only Marie Knight. What a beautiful voice. Such power. I can imagine how your mom and everybody felt when you were just a little kid starting to sing like that. That must have been incredible as a young girl, and it remains that way.
Well, my mother always, as I said before, followed me around. She could send me to the store. But instead of me coming back the way she sent me, I would go around the other way to the other store, because they used to give me lollipops at that store. And I would go around, he'd give me a great big lollipop. When my mother see, she knew the pace that I would take. When she come around, she said, I told you, I'm going to get you. You're a bad girl. And when she said I was a bad girl, I'd hold a lollipop up. You want a piece?
Okay. Feisty. Maria, of course, has got Mark Carpentieri, the owner of MC Records, playing drums with her. Isn't Larry incredible on this acoustic guitar?
She is. That's my guitar player.
Playing bass is a woman that is a friend of mine. She's a friend of Woodsongs. We devoted an entire hour to her music and career. She had one of her recent albums, Folk is the New Black, which is absolutely wonderful. She's working on her autobiography, and she's playing bass with Marie Knight. What's especially important is that as a young girl, she was a student of Reverend Gary Davis, learning the guitar, and eventually she had a big hit record, and this is her record.
Truth at 17,
Let's welcome Janis Ian to the stage.
Hey, y'all. Thank you so much. Hey,
Janis
Michael.
Ian, you, first of all, welcome.
Well, thank you.
It's nice to be here, and it must be fun for you to be able to play bass, of all things.
Oh, I'm
with
thrilled. I don't know how I wound up playing bass. That was Larry's idea. I'm not a bass player. I'm actually a musician.
Bum.
But I met Marie Knight last year at a tribute to Odetta, and there was no guitarist there to play lead. And I said, well, I play as badly as anyone else here, so just let me stand up there and play. And I just loved it. I mean, you have to understand, for someone like me, I'm 56. This year, I'll be 57. Working with someone like Marie,
And a
just
lovely
hope
lady.
for the future.
Now, tell us about a young girl. You played guitar and sang. You were writing
I was
songs.
13.
You didn't have your record deal yet. Things were just.
I was living in East Orange, New Jersey, and I was coming into New York on the weekends. And ran into a whole crowd of people down in the village who were studying guitar with Reverend Gary Davis, and it was 50 cents a lesson, which was a whole lot more than I could afford. So I got a job cleaning counters, and I got a couple of babysitting jobs, and I eventually saved up enough for a couple of lessons with him, and he was great, except that I have really small hands, and he had huge hands. So after about 5 lessons, we decided that I was never going to be able to play guitar the way he did. But his wife had decided that she really liked me, and she would cook for me. So I kept going to the house and eating Miss Annie's food. And then eventually, I sang him some of the songs I'd written and sang them for his wife, and one was Society's Child. And they took me down with them to the Gaslight Cafe one day, and Mr. Clarence Hood owned it. And Miss Annie, Reverend Gary's wife, informed Mr. Hood that I was going to be opening for him that week. And Mr. Hood said, "No, you're not." And I said, "Okay." And I started to leave, and Miss Annie grabbed me and said, "No, she is." And Mr. Hood said, "The audience is paying to see an old blind black man, not a young seeing white girl." And I kind of agreed with him. Miss Annie went over and spoke with the Reverend, and he started to leave, and he started making his way out the door. And Mr. Hood said, I'll see you for the show, Reverend." And Reverend was up the steps, and Miss Annie turned around and said, "He's not feeling real good. I'm so sorry." And so Mr. Hood kind of threw up his hands and said, "Okay, you can open. You got 2 or 3 songs. That's it. Then get off the stage." Well, that night I met the guy who introduced me to my record producer, Shadow Morton, who produced Society's Child and gave me a career. So I feel like without Reverend Gary and his wife, I probably wouldn't be here.
Well, it's a great story. And it's nice that, you know, it's all come full circle because you know, Marie and Larry have put out this record with Mark, tribute to the man who helped you have a career, and you're able to be here with them. So isn't it nice that Janis is here? The CD is called Let Us Get Together. It is a tribute to Reverend Gary Davis. This is a very famous song done only the way she can do it. It's called I'll Fly Away. It's Marie Knight on the Woodsongs Old Time Radio.
Some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to my home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. You know I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days, and then you know I'll fly away to my home that God has just prepared. You know I'll fly away. You know I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days, and then you know I'll fly away to my home where God has been before. You know I'll fly away. You know I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, I'm gonna fly away.
It's the legendary Marie Knight. Wasn't it great having her on our broadcast? Playing acoustic guitar, Larry Campbell. Wonderful drummer, Mark Carpentieri, great musician, visionary record label owner. And the one and only Janis Ian playing bass. What a band. All of this in tribute to a young boy who suddenly went from sighted to the darkness of blindness. And he sought out the community of his family and his church at the time in order to understand what was happening to him and feel better for himself. And what he turned to was music, art. In the trial and the pain of what he was feeling as a young boy, he turned to music and art to find a road away from the trouble and the pain that he was feeling. And it took him from the South Carolina mountains to New York City, where he played on street corners in Harlem. And he played his songs at a time when nobody was paying anything. They weren't paying attention, they weren't paying money. And he played, and he believed, and he played, and he believed in the songs and the art, and he didn't change his art in favor of what was happening commercially. And what has happened is the commercial world, in the hands of a great record company like MC Records, and there are many others out there, have rediscovered the music of Gary Davis, and what a brilliant, beautiful album Marie Knight now has. It's a tribute to art and artists when they stick to their guns and believe in that instead of the commerce, because ultimately, art transcends everything. I hope you enjoyed our show. This has been a great privilege to be part of. We're thankful for the great artists that are here. Especially, we congratulate Marie Knight on a beautiful record. My name is Michael Johnathan. I am a folk singer. I am a tree hugger. We'll see you next week on the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour. Good night.
You've been listening to Woodsongs broadcast number 470. Michael's opening performance was the song Ravenwood with Lisa Shveikovsky and the Hippie Chick String Quartet.
Our chief engineer is Kevin Darth Vader Johnson. Technical assistants are Brian Clausey, Brandon Eves, Eric Anderson, and Jerome Gall.
The Woodsongs volunteer crew is Larry Sturr, Dr. Bob and Mary DiMartina, Glenn Wilson, Mim King, Marie Wilson, Scott Getzinger, Lil Schulman, Sylvia Davis, Roger Ross, Jane Clay Britton, Luke McClellan, David Wormley, Sally Watts, Wes Kawadja, Timothy Chandler, Maria Claridge, Anna Dickens, Sam Swiggett, and Judge Ray Corns.
Our PBS TV and video webcast is presented by Inside Communications, directed by Brian Connors Mankey. The webcast and video crew includes Lisa Pepple, Catherine Judgestrip, Kurt Jefferson, Chris Cheney, Desiree Forker and John Somerset, Ruth Adams, Gina Willis, Camilla Olson, and Jim Piston.
Special support provided by SiteCreations.com, Natasha's Bistro, Highbridge Springwater, and the Belladonna Bed and Breakfast. Are to stay as guests of the Bluegrass Hospitality Association at the Crown Plaza Campbell House in Lexington.
This program is produced with the support of WUKY, University of Kentucky Public Radio, and XM Satellite Radio. Woodsongs and the Woodsong symbol are registered trademarks of Rachel Aubrey Music. Thanks for listening. I'm Joe Conkright.
And for Michael Johnathan and the entire Woodsongs crew, this is Stacey Brothwell. We hope you'll join us again next week for the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
The encore section of the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour is presented by Reunion Blues, leather, banjo, guitar, and mandolin gig bags. By D'Addario, guitar, banjo, mandolin, and cello strings.
By Audio-Technica microphones, the professional audio choice of Woodsongs, providing the rich, warm sound of the music and instruments you're hearing on our show.
By the IntelliTouch line of guitar, mandolin, cello, and banjo tuners, the official tuner of the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour, on the web at tuners.com.
And by Insight Communications and our family of Woodsongs partners. You can support our broadcast and this massive online archive of shows by becoming a Woodsongs partner. All new Woodsongs radio partners receive the album Walden the Earth Song Collection as a free gift, plus the new Woodsongs t-shirt. Sign up today on our partners page at woodsongs.com.